Hello, I'm Keith McBlain. My pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Ivy Leone. My pronouns are she, her. So Keith, how would you describe this show in a elevator pitch sentence?
So we're going to be reviewing the three Mewtwo movies. This is a 3-part series. We're going to be reviewing Mewtwo's Revenge, Mewtwo Returns, and Detective Pikachu. And we're going to be just focusing on this one character that is kind of central to that whole trilogy. Of course, the boy themselves, Mewtwo. And we're going to be talking about their character arc, what the original 2D animated movies sort of, accomplished and failed to accomplish, and how Detective Pikachu sort of brings things to a conclusion 20 years later.
Also, that butt and that tail. We're going to be talking a lot about them as well.
We are. As we're doing this, I'm also going to be just live drawing a really sexually suggestive Mewtwo, because damn that boy thick.
I would say that's a pretty consistent third bullet point in our podcast, is that boy thick.
That boy thick.
I think this is probably the best thing we've ever done.
Yeah, I think this is the best idea for a podcast that we've ever had. So I'm not a fast drawer. We're just gonna see if I'm able to do this while also recording a podcast. It's gonna be a time.
You're applying podcasting to drawing now.
So yeah, I kind of want to lay out my ideas for for this artwork I'm going to be completing over the next however long this takes. So I'm thinking I kind of want to draw Mewtwo in sort of like a body pillow pose. Keep it relatively simple to start off, but just
Yes.
making like suggestive eyes, lying down, just ready for a cuddling.
The Eki kind of approach, where it's like for example, like at most we could have Mewtwo like eating a freeze pop in a suggestive manner, but it's just a freeze pop, so don't even worry about it. But Mewtwo is coming a little bit, so
this
mixed messages. We're trying to send very mixed messages. Maybe could we include something that's like in words or in explicit visual languages, don't sexualize me, and can we also have an explicit sexual visual language to do the opposite of that as well? I would like both.
Okay, yeah, I think so we want sort of a tsundere vibe here.
Maybe not explicitly tsundere, but I want it to be very clear that it's sexual, but I want it to, on the surface, to absolutely vehemently deny that.
Okay, yeah.
It's just normal Pokemon things.
Right, just normal Pokemon. So
this is the Mewtwo pillow. It's for lying down in yoga. It's not to hump. We included a vibrator pocket, but it's to hold your change.
So what is Mewtwo saying in this particular dialogue? What do I draw in this word balloon here? Is it what is the least sexual thing that Mewtwo could say while also like basically humping a pillow?
He could be saying that he's genetically superior, which is something he says a lot in the first movie, which is pretty uncomfortable.
True. Yeah, that's got a vibe.
Yeah. I loved watching Ash get owned in the new CG one.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
His explosion was so pretty.
Yeah. He fucking dies in this one.
I like that he's like, it's always been funny to me that he sees like this giant psychic power attack and he's like, I'm gonna put my body right in between that and it's gonna stop them from fight. Like, Ash, sweetheart, come on.
He just hates Pokemon battles so much.
Which is
He
why...
will stop them with his body.
Hey guys, fighting is bad, which is why you should all keep fighting in the game. But you should all... It's like Christianity. It's like... It knows you're gonna masturbate, but it just wants you to be ashamed about it.
So is that what Mewtwo should be saying? Christians shouldn't masturbate?
Okay, yes, I think that would be... You know, the muse works in mysterious ways. I also like Mewtwo as a little bean ghost right now. Just a little bean. Christians should masturbate.
Perfect.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Can he just also be dressed as the Jesus? Or even better, his tail is just all the way up in Jesus's guts.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Just deep in that Messiah. Just churning that boy.
Oof, Ivy.
I know, it's terrible, but you can't not think about it once you start. It's really, the tail is really long and powerful, and we should all be very afraid of it.
Yeah, it is a fucking frightening tail.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, while I'm working on this, do you want to actually summarize this movie that features no masturbation?
Okay, so the Pokemon the first movie, which has no masturbation, which existed in what, 90 something or 2000 something, but then it also was just remade in 2019, a shot for shot full CG remake, which is just the weirdest thing. Like, I just like, I know it's the premise of our entire episode. The entire time I was watching it, I was just kind of flabbergasted as to, like, why does this exist? This movie already existed and they remade it. Like, exactly. It's kind of bonkers. But anyway, so it's a story about how man plays God, creates Mewtwo, the ultimate being, who then kills them, and is misled and gaslit by a bad daddy, Giovanni. He's his slave for a while, and then he goes, fuck this, I'm gonna become a Poke-Nazi, and he leaves and starts a cloning supremacy movement in which he recruits, kind of Hunger Games or Battle Royale style, a bunch of children and their Pokemon to murder. But then he realizes that it's kind of fucked up, and he goes, oh, we should not do that. He takes his followers into heaven and erases everyone's minds, and we never see him again. Well, we do see him again, but Ash doesn't know shit about him after that. I think that's a pretty good summation of Pokemon the first movie, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's true.
There is no masturbating in it.
None at all.
None whatsoever.
Not even once.
Not even a little. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that'd be if that's the only thing they added in the new one is one scene of like, hey guys, we're gonna pack up for Camp Ash. We're all in the same cave. You couldn't wait. Like, just
this is so
no
cursed.
one ever addresses it.
This podcast is already a mistake.
Oh, of course. I mean, you knew that before you called me.
Yeah, you know, you're right. I'm complicit in this. I can't deny it.
It just kind of right now looks like a snake is giving Mewtwo some incredible head.
Yeah, that's what Mewtwo always looks like.
Like they're always being half vored by a big old snake.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, don't get me wrong. It looks fucking awesome. Those fucking hips, girl.
Yeah. Fucking Mewtwo hips. They should be illegal.
Mewtwo really is. Mewtwo's torso to hips situation is an extremely fuckable one.
Yeah.
Very
you're not
grabbable.
wrong.
Got a lot of cushion. The weird mouth, not so much. The arms, the hands I could do without. The hands are kind of bad. Not bad. They seem like they would be bad for the sex, maybe. But
I don't hate the hands. It's like each of their fingers is a little anal bead.
No, no, Keith. Oh, that was fantastic. I feel like, okay, if our podcast, if the metaphor is fencing, I feel like you just lunged to my center, and I'm just so proud of you. I feel like you landed in I can't even be mad about it. You beat me at my own game. Oh God, yeah. They are kind of all anal beads, but there's not multiple ones of them, so it's just a cruel fingering experience. It's very sudden, with Mewtwo. I do like them eyes though.
Yeah, powerful eyes.
Powerful spooky eyes. Devilman eyes. I got lost just watching you do the drawing part of the thing because it looks cool. I'm trying to think of other things that happen.
Yeah, let's we've got to make this podcast last for as long as I need to draw. So let's actually get into, I think, a more scene by scene and sort of play by play of this.
Okay, yeah, let's
there's definitely a lot to go through here. I mean, we can more or less just do the Mewtwo scenes because Ash is not important in this movie. Ash is not the main character of this.
Ash
is like nothing in this movie.
Yeah, the intro part of the movie is the best part. It's it's like the mini movie horror movie part of the experience where you just get the Mew and Mewtwo story with like the lab and stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, what I could talk about is what I observed was that the CG version is very lavish in all of its colors, but I actually missed the pacing of the 2D one and how they do it.
The 2D one is I rewatched the 2D one just before this, although I have seen the 3D, and yeah, the original two-dimensional is definitely faster paced for sure.
There's just the cuts in the CG one, it just feels like they're in molasses. It feels like they're just not firing correctly. They just feel like they hold on a little bit too long.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot more time.
Yeah, and I think the visual language is just generally stronger in the 2D one in how they frame and communicate things to the audience. And in that way, it kind of reminds me of how good the first one is in that especially in that sequence. I really like it. It's very kind of thoughtful and abstract. You just have Mewtwo kind of asking why he exists, and you have all these images of sea creatures and life, and there's these vistas. It's very cool. I don't know. I'm into it. So that's the beginning is seeing the ancient Mew fossil kind of dug up by these scientists who are working for Giovanni and who are going to play God. And they're definitely shown a lot more in the CG version too. That's something I noticed. You get a good look at all of them, and in the animated version, they're kind of just they don't really matter. They're kind of just, you get less defined pictures of them, which is obviously just a more visually striking way to do it. But I'm glad they still all got exploded. I was worried they would make that a little. I think it was a little bit more visceral in the 2D one, where it's fire and it seems it's everything just kind of has a different aesthetic in the CG. It all feels very pristine and kind of clean. And it's very captivating to look at, but it just has a kind of different landing. So that was kind of on my mind the entire movie, which may or may not be the point of this podcast, but I'm in the driver's seat, so fuck it. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, just to talk about Mewtwo a little more, I think, what do you think about Mewtwo's motives in this movie? Because I think you have to do a big stretchy and do a big reach to like actually make Mewtwo's motives like consistent in this movie.
Yeah.
But I think I can get there. So why don't you give your thoughts on that first?
I think so. It makes sense to me. I like Mewtwo a lot in this movie because they're very easy to understand, at least in the beginning. I think it gets a little muddy in the middle and the end. They kind of crash the ship, but the way the ship takes off, I think, is very consistent. Like Mewtwo becomes sentient, is like, why do I exist? And everyone around him is kind of apathetic to that question or can't really answer it in a way that satisfies him. And this causes him intense displeasure and anger and isolation. So, and then he's groomed and kind of used as a weapon. And then so he has a massive distrust of humans. And that's like, he's very sympathetic. He's very understandable. I think all that stuff is like gold star. It just kind of gets a little muddier with his plan to like, have Pokemon, but he's a Pokemon trainer, but he's like luring Pokemon trainers like to prove that his ones are better, and then he kind of just starts leaning into weird eugenics because it's like my clones are genetically superior to you, and it's like, well, I didn't want you to become a Nazi. That's really not what I was looking for, Mewtwo, but I was with you till that point. I kind of wish it would be like, I think it would be fascinating if Mewtwo was doing something different where he was like freeing all the Pokemon. And that's something they could have changed in the 3D movie, but they didn't. So it was like, okay, well, we're sticking with the weird, completely confused internal metaphors of the last one, which are like fighting is bad in Pokemon. And that, you know, we gotta fight race species Pokemon wars, which is like, well, that was a choice, but okay.
Yeah. I think, like, Mewtwo's goals in this movie ultimately all revolve around, like, validating their own existence, you know? And I think, like, yeah, because, you know, from the moment they sort of wake up and, you know, become, like, aware and sentient, they, like, the first thing they ask is, like, if they have parents, like, and the answer is kind of yes, but no. And there is like a kind of an interesting gender thing that can be read into that. I've seen different versions of this based on like whether I'm watching like the fan sub or the whether, you know, just based on like which version and which translation I'm watching. But you know, Mewtwo asks if Mew is their mother or father, and the scientist is just kind of like, neither, both. So that's kind of, So, like, that's kind of an interesting thing, like, that goes to sort of establish Mewtwo as not really fully belonging in any world, you know? They're not fully a Pokemon, they're not fully a human. You know, did they come from Mewtwo or were they created, did they come from Mew or were they created by science? It's
ambiguous.
So yeah, there's a lot of like sort of thematic stuff like that of just like Mewtwo not having any place to belong, and also just like, you know, the fact that they don't have like a real parent just kind of means that they're like coming into the world without like any familial relations, any like friends relations, and sort of the
socialization.
And then sort of the relationship that they have that is like sort of their, you know, sort of first parental like model relationship is with Giovanni, who is just like, hey, let's fucking control the world, and then like uses Mewtwo as a slave for a little bit. So just like their first relationship is one very much about like dominance and control, and then that's just kind of like Mewtwo's entire context for what a relationship is and what it means to like exist and be validated is just like kind of a strong creature used for like to gain power and dominance. So I think taking that into account, their like later actions make a lot more sense. Like even going, you know, even to how they cloned a bunch of the other Pokemon just because, like, I think they were looking for validation in strength, just because, like, hey, I'm going to make clones and those clones are going to kick your Pokemon's asses. And then that'll mean, like, clones are more valid than the real thing. We don't need love. We just need punches.
I really fucking like that. You know what? All of Mewtwo's actions in this way are very consistent with them being groomed, them being kind of embracing the utility of their existence for others, and then replicating the idea of like the cloning thing, and then replicating those structures in a way to self-validate. I don't think that's a reach at all. That really does seem very just kind of exactly what they're doing, and I really like that. I do like the kind of queer metaphor or kind of trans metaphor that's also kind of easy to attach to that as a kind of outsider that doesn't belong, and one that can be easily radicalized to potentially extremely harmful, weird, eugenic directions, which Mewtwo does for a little while, and then is like, oops, mind wipe, I gotta go. No, this never happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is very funny, but like, I guess, like, I mean, I like that kind of idea that's like how this kind of psychic infant creature is dealing with things. It's like, Mewtwo, we've been over this. If you fuck up, you can't erase our memories anymore. I know you do this. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Again, I don't think the movie necessarily does a great job of like presenting it to us like that.
Certainly
Again,
not.
I think I had to take a journey to get there, you know.
It was a good journey though, and it's one that like you're making with you know, all parts up from the text. So it's not an extra textual, you know, reading. It's a reading from within the text. I think it's a valid one.
Yeah, I think so.
Now the real horseshit is Team Rocket in the 3D version coming back in their little Lapis boat. That was terrible. I hated that. But we're gonna ignore that.
Yeah,
because Mewtwo has some fuckable thighs going on here and a really pretty face.
Yeah, in the 2D version, the Team Rocket outfits were like a lot more believable as disguises. In the 3D version, they're just kind of very obviously themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in the 2D one, it's like a dumb one note like Viking joke, but at least it's like, okay, and then we move on. Like there's like singing in this one, and like also the version I watched didn't have the original voice cast for Jesse and James, while it did have the original voice cast for most of the other characters, and I just really missed my Jesse and James. Yeah. Even though they don't really do jack shit in this movie, and they kind of just keep detracting from the main plot to just kind of dick around for a little while, but you know.
It's true. There really is no reason for them being there in the narrative, except to be like, hey, it's those guys. Remember from the cartoon?
Can we also talk about how Mewtwo just keeps a human woman?
Mm-hmm.
Just keeps it. Did Mewtwo fuck her? It's hard to say no conclusively.
Yeah. God, I want Mewtwo to be hugging a pillow here because that's pretty cute. And
it's very cute. This is extremely cute.
I'm wondering how the hell to draw a pillow. Let's see. Do I draw? Yeah, I think I gotta draw it with the pillowcase on. Otherwise, it'll just be kind of like an indistinct shape.
Now that's a good pillow. Now that's what I call pillow.
Now that's what I call pillow 23.
23. Volume 7 billion. You know, sometimes I think about the horrifying staircase that Mewtwo created for his home, and I just shiver, because I think about being on that staircase and just like looking down and then just kind of slowly hunching yourself to the ground as, or the quote unquote stairs, which are just small slats that are all in a downward angle on this like railingless curving fucking bullshit that's just like double helixing in like the open air. Like I would be so upset about that.
But Ivy, it's DNA imagery, and Mewtwo loves that shit.
It's true, and Mewtwo doesn't have to worry about it because they can fucking like fly and shit. So to them, it's fine.
No, they can just descend or ascend in a pillar of light. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, which like I fucking get it. I mean, I would if I witnessed that in the Pokemon world, I would probably be down to hit that. I'd be like, yeah, you can be my Pokemon Dom, I guess. Like, you don't have to brainwash me.
Oh god, what do hand look like?
What do hand look like? You're selling the Mewtwo hands better than I feel like I like them more than I ever have.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. What else does Mewtwo do? Mewtwo just kind of hangs out for a while, beats up some Pokemon. Clones everybody's Pokemon.
Clones everybody. Makes a mean Pikachu.
Pikachu's fur in the CG one looks real weird too. It's not like that. It's not the good Detective Pikachu fur. It's like a shorter fur that I think is more consistent with like the 2D Pikachu. It just ends up being weirdy. I do like Mewtwo's giant storm island, like that's very good. That's a good hang.
Yeah. It is indeed a good hang. Yeah, like Mewtwo just kind of created that whole island by themselves, didn't they? Did they just like recreate all the cloning technology and like lab equipment from that island that they blew up just like using telekinesis?
I guess so.
That's a power move.
Yeah, I mean, what if Mewtwo, instead of just flying off to, I don't know, do like a mass suicide of his followers, I feel like, what if Mewtwo just kind of stuck around and was like, I live on this island I made now, and I am a god, and I exist in the world now. I'm just gonna kind of hang out, and you can, I guess come and challenge me, or just look at my cool stairs if you want. I'll be here, just mind controlling women. Mewtwo things.
Yeah, I do want to talk about like how the sort of end of this, whole movie where Mewtwo does just essentially, fuck off.
Yeah, to like, I always make the joke. He's like, I'm gonna go kill all my followers, like, because we just never see any of them ever again.
Yeah, and I think that's where this movie kind of does fall apart, like, thematically, because, like, and that's why I say that this movie, like, leaves, untied threads of Mewtwo's character arc, because, like, they don't really reconcile anything about themselves, They don't, like... Mm-hmm. They kind of realize that it's okay for them to, like, be a clone and like be who they are without like trying to kill everyone, but that's just kind of like baby steps,
Yeah, I like that again, like literally Mewtwo, unlike everyone else in the world who would like, experiences like, this thing happened and I have to learn from it. They can go, well, I mean, I could actually erase everyone's memories so that I can learn from it, but I also don't have to deal with any of it. And that's what they did. And that's just it's just a wild way to end your story. Also, especially since, like, Ash really isn't in the movie as a main protagonist. He doesn't really connect. His story doesn't really connect to anything Mewtwo is doing. The storm doesn't really connect to anything Mewtwo is doing. Like, they really do lose the thread. It's like they had a really solid idea, and then they just kind of got tangled up in all their Pokemon stuff. And then they kind of fell down a hill and just kept getting more and more tangled. And then kind of like just cut it with scissors and was like, it's over.
Yeah. The ending definitely doesn't work, yeah, again, like nothing is learned. Like aside from Mewtwo realizing that they don't have to be like destructive in order to be valid, there's sort of like nothing else really gained from this movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because like I think this does show both potential and limitations in the sense that Pokemon has a kind of like Pokemon's brand is limiting itself in the fact that like creating a character like Mewtwo just kind of begs you to go to places that you probably can't keep your typical Pokemon status quo stuff at. Like, I feel like if you're going to really ask and answer these questions in one movie with Mewtwo, it has to get kind of existential or weird or different. I don't know. It kind of has to interrogate itself in a way that I guess it really hasn't. And it can't do that. So in some ways, it might not have been a good choice, I guess. Like,
yeah, and like just narratively, it is like ultimately really unsatisfying because like Mewtwo is the main character of this movie, but the movie then kind of forgets that like as soon as Ash shows up, just because like yeah, this movie could have ended with like Mewtwo reconciling their own identity and like, but it definitely misses that mark. It ends with them like again like being like kind of being okay with the fact that they're a clone, but like the fact that they're a clone was like never really the issue to begin with. It's like more the fact that like
yeah,
that they seek validation, that they want to know like what the meaning of existence is and like what their existence specifically means, because like, you know, they were created for a purpose, but like that purpose fucking sucks. So like what meaning is there beyond that? And yeah, the movie never gets there.
Yeah, and I don't think it really can. It really can't address those. It is limited by being a Pokemon thing, so it has to like tie itself to a bunch of other things that have to be there kind of contractually. So it is a weird mix. It's like it almost feels like watching a toy commercial that like half of was made by like an artist who was like not as limited, like you can see their influence on it, like, but then you can also see very much where that stops, like where that's limited, where that is kind of constrained.
Yeah, for sure. Like it definitely seems like this movie might have been something at one point, but then it like got rewritten 2 or 3 times and to like be more Ash focused, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It really honestly shouldn't have had Ash in it. It really could have been a lot better without him.
Yeah, just make a Pokemon movie without like the Pokemon protagonist. Yeah. That'll be fine. That honestly would have been better because like, does anyone really like the Pokemon anime franchise for Ash?
Yeah, like honestly, it might as every fucking Pokemon season should end with someone giving Ash like amnesia, because it's like, well, we're just gonna go back and do it again, and we all know that like it's not a problem. It's just this is just what we do. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
He can't really stop being Ash Ketchum. He can't really stop being a 12-year-old, you know, like idyllic or not, or like a 12-year-old who's like got some very specific ideas and goals about Pokemon training. Like he can't ever be disillusioned, because then it wouldn't be Ash Ketchum or whatever. I wish he could. It would be fucking hilarious and cool if there was a Pokemon game where Ash is like, I hate this. Like that would be amazing. But you can't really. They're not strong enough to cut off their left hand, because it would be cool to like do a high five where you throw your hand across the table. And they just won't fucking do it. Cut off your fucking hand, Nintendo. Jesus. Cowards. We've all done it. Yeah. All of us have one hand now, but guess what? We had the coolest high five ever.
Who needs hand when you've got Mewtwo telekinesis?
Yeah, give us a game about eating Mewtwo's ass. Come on, Nintendo.
Nintendo.
just Nintendo. Nintendo. That's it. That's great.
All right. I feel like I finally got those hands. Sorry that took 3 hours.
No, I liked watching the fiddly hand bits. Those thighs are just sinful. I love it.
Thank you. I feel like it's very easy to make good Mewtwo thighs just because that character design is like you can really go all out with it and it'll still be recognizable. It'll still be like on model in the way that it needs to be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. If honestly the movie could have really avoided a lot of these questions if we had more fucking shots of their thighs, just lingering shots on their glistening, just meaty big old thighs, because then I'll just want to put my dick in there and not really worry about the rest of what's happening, and, that's fine. I guess that's what pornography is, so you make it porn, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's not really... Never mind. That's not good advice for Pokemon. This is... Oh, Jesus. Okay, also, let's talk about how cute Mewtwo's footies are. They're basically wearing high heels at all times.
Yeah, it's good.
So, that's very good. I do like their footies.
Quality foot content. Wow.
Things I just never thought I'd hear you say. This is amazing. I'm just 10 episodes later, we're just both in full leather, broadcasting from a dungeon, and we're like, oh, this got really sexual. I didn't see this coming. Things really took a turn here.
So yeah, I think my thoughts and
prayers.
Yeah, the reason I say that, I think what we're gonna get into when we start talking about Detective Pikachu, and maybe to some extent when we're talking about the next Mewtwo movie. I'm actually not sure because I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I've only seen
But yeah, I think one of the big things that they kind of failed to resolve about Mewtwo is the resolution of their dual nature, and them understanding relationships that aren't toxic and harmful. So we see a little bit of that. I think even less so in the original movie. More I forget it. I think this might have even been God, I just watched it, but I can't fucking remember what happened. But I know in the remake movie there is a scene where Pikachu talks to Mewtwo about no, humans and Pokemon should be friends, and that's kind of the start of what this movie needed to do, but it doesn't necessarily go all the way there.
I think I remember that in the 2D one.
It's probably there. I'm probably just forgetting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of... It all blends together. I don't remember the other... I remember he's in Detective Pikachu, and I kind of forget everything about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think... If we could summarize one of the main reasons why the actual ending of the movie is so unsatisfying, it's because Mewtwo is trying to find their place, whether they're a Pokemon or a human trainer, and whether and just what they are, and the relationship between Pokemon and humans, and just their own identity and their own place in that dynamic. And yeah, in the end, they just kind of reject humanity and like also Pokemon as well. They just kind of fuck off and, you know, go live with their little clone cults.
Which sounds so much cooler when you say it than it is. It's, you know what I mean? Like when you say it like that, I feel like that could actually work. Like there's a way to make that work, right? But
yeah,
it's just the execution. Like so much of the movie just deviates away from Mewtwo. Like I feel like these things could actually, in a different context, be cool if we got to see them or if more time was spent with them. Like Ash and the whole. Honestly, so many parts of this movie would have to just be completely gone, and we just honestly like spend time with Mewtwo on the island, them with the clones, and even if they do fuck off to like be some kind of monastic Pokemon order, like I want to see it. I want to see where they go, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I think
this is so cute.
Thank you. And yeah, this is going to be really interesting when we get to Detective Pikachu, because I think that movie like does pick up some of those threads and yeah, and does kind of give you a story where like Mewtwo is given like a better version of you know, Pokemon human society to like you know, sort of live in, and like better, and you know, also just like sort of, and you know, also being, you know, also other examples of beings like them that are like neither fully Pokemon or human. So like yeah, I think like very subtly, maybe not even intentionally, Detective Pikachu is addressing some of that stuff and like giving Mewtwo tools to you know, actually resolve their sort of identity issues instead of just like sequestering themselves forever.
Yeah. I think you're right. I remember them kind of tying that into the main plot in a way that felt like interesting. Now that it's like coming back, it's been a while. Yeah, it is really a shame, like, because I like very interesting questions and a strong characterization, and then there's just kind of not so much like follow through, and it does have a very hollow feeling. Certainly.
Yeah.
I love this Mewtwo. Also, you're doing so good.
Thank you.
A very fuckable Mewtwo.
Indeed.
I just want to see like Mewtwo waging a war on humanity. That would be cool to see. Or like Mewtwo as like a kind of super rare Pokemon because they like live as a ghost. They like avoid people and like teleport away and like, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, so I think I'm almost finished here.
This is looking so good.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna, you know, get to coloring and adding some background details probably after we finish up this here recording. But yeah, any last thoughts on Mewtwo's Revenge?
Just that this Mewtwo is so cute. This Mewtwo is so cute. I want to kiss. I just want to smooch. That's my last thought. Is smooching. Smooch a Mewtwo.
Smooch a Mewtwo.
Save a cowboy. Smooch a Mewtwo. Oh God. Their eyes are just very. There's a lot going on. Mewtwo's giving us the eyes.
Yeah.
I would say anything else. I'm just furiously masturbating. So. I always forget that their eyes are purple. I always forget like the eye color in there.
Yeah, I got a little reference up on my other monitor.
Ooh.
Not gonna forget that eye color when a Mewtwo is looking straight at me.
Ah, the blushes. Ah, perfect. Perfecto. I love you. Oh, so good. This is so cute. I'm angry at how cute this is.
Let's see if I can actually find a standard soft brush in Clip Studio Paint, because I did kind of recently switch over from Photoshop, and I don't know where everything is yet.
That's the eternal battle. If only they could make them the goddamn same, but that's capitalism, huh? I'm a soft brush. I don't know what that would mean, but I just want to use that as either an insult or a self-descriptor. Unless it's like tangentially related to butchness. Like a type of variant.
God, where the hell is that soft brush?
Where the fuck is that soft brush? Mewtwo, did you see our soft brush? Ah, fuck. Soft bleed.
Oh. There
we
go.
Ooh.
That's not wrong.
Soft bleed. Yes, indeed.
All right.
I want to fuck this Mewtwo.
Yeah, all right. I think we can call it here. I think after this I'm going to add some shading and highlights. Yeah, but that's a Mewtwo. That's Mewtwo's revenge.
Mwah. I want this on a shirt. Can we make a Redbubble where we just make Mewtwo, like horny Mewtwo shirts?
Yes, fucking absolutely.
I'm serious. I will 100% do that. Like, send me the files. I'll put them up there. I'll buy them. I'll wear them. I want Sexy Mewtwo t-shirts on my titties.
Don't we all?
Don't we all?
All right, so I made those finishing touches I was talking about. So Ivy, are you ready to see the finished Mewtwo?
I am so ready to see the finished Mewtwo. Give me that good pillow hugging, thick thigh, psychic baby boy. I'm so excited about this. Oh, I forgot about the Christians shouldn't masturbate part of it. I always forget about that because of how luscious the Mewtwo is. I love the body pillow, the fucking, like, you can see the like the suggestion of like weight in the mattress or like in the sheets. I would masturbate on this pillow for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Wow, I love it. The colors are great. The luminosity of skin is very shiny. I'm very into it.
Thank you so much.
They're a very shiny, kind of, like, it gives the impression that Mewtwo has kind of a latex, texture, as it were. And that's kind of a cool vibe.
Anytime I draw Mewtwo, I like making them shiny.
They're better shiny.
You gotta get those highlights on the thighs and on the tail.
They are, with the shine on, they are definitely the lewdest Pokemon I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, because we've seen a lot of lewd Pokemon in this.
That's the way it should be, baby.
The movie really should have ended with Ash just completely railing just Mewtwo's ass. That's what the real lesson should have been.
Oh no.
It was anal sex. That's what I took away from the movie.
Detective Pikachu should have started with Ryan just rubbing Mewtwo down in sensuous body oils.
Can you imagine if Detective Pikachu is like you're like, Dad, come with me to see this movie about Pikachu, and then it's Ryan Reynolds just dicking down fucking Mewtwo, like in just this like extended scene, and everyone is just totally cool, and your dad is freaking out, and you're like, Dad, I love this movie. Yeah, that's.
I feel like that's true to Ryan's original vision for the film. The film that Ryan made, Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu, Ryan's film. Ryan's story. We gave this one to Ryan. Oh, fuck.
So yeah, next time we're gonna be talking about Mewtwo's Return, and oh boy, Ivy, I already watched this movie. I checked it out last night, and it's a mess. It's gonna be we're gonna have a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, those the live tweets, the updates you sent me it was an incredible journey. I'm treasuring the moments before I know the movie, because all I know is these like beautiful snippets that you were just, just baffled by, and I'm enjoying that moment, this virginal moment that will be crystallized forever. I can go back to and look at my innocent self before I've been just tainted with whatever happens next. Is it the third or the fourth? Or wait, is it the last one or the not last one? I can count.
No, we're gonna do Mewtwo's Return and then finish off with Detective Pikachu.
Okay.
We are gonna finish.
Okay,
with Detective Pikachu, and with all of the euphemisms loaded into that statement, fully intended.
Is that if that's if that's a requirement, I probably could do it, but I just it's gonna set an interesting precedent. Welcome to our watch of this movie where by law we have to orgasm during the podcast. Wait a minute. Hold on. Writing that down.
Oh no.
I might start a different podcast. I just noted.
But Ivy, I said that, but now I'm looking at Mewtwo, and they are saying that Christians shouldn't masturbate.
See,
so I think we might want to 86 that idea.
That turns me on more, actually. I'm very familiar with being told that, actually. So it works for me. It's like Mewtwo read into my psychic trauma and was like, I know it's gonna turn you on, Ivy. And then he Evangelioned it into my brain. And he's just mind fucking me as I'm in my Ava, and I'm screaming. And it's great. It's wonderful. It's a good time for everyone, which is exactly what that scene was.
You love it. Mewtwo in Evangelion, traumatizing you right in your brain.
That would actually, they would fit into Evangelion, kind of.
Kind of.
Can you imagine, like, Shinji, Asuka, and Rei, and then Mewtwo? And they're like, man, it sucks having your parents be dead or abusive. And Mewtwo's like, I know. I was created by a lab. I killed my parents. And Shinji's like, I wish I could kill my parents.
End of Evangelion with a giant Mewtwo.
Oh, man. The thighs.
Vaginas all over their body.
Oh, God. Oh. I always forget about that because it's horrifying. So
it's bad.
I watched it the other week.
Not a good imagery.
Yeah. There's like a lot of that movie that lives in the vault in my brain, even though I've seen it like a million times. It's like, oh, that sucks. That was.
I'm somewhat envious of you because I can't forget.
Yeah. Dissociation will overtake us all like the ocean.
Yeah, so I think the creators of Mewtwo Returns were dissociating when they made that movie. So that's gonna be an interesting time. I'm really looking forward to it.
I can't wait. I can only assume it's The Empire Strikes Back, but it's Mewtwo.
Sure, more or less.
That zigzagged so much. I loved it.
All right, Ivy. I'll talk to you then.
Okay. See you next time on Who's That Mewtwo?
Sexy Mewtwo review, the name of the show.
That's it, babe.
Which we definitely had planned the whole time. All right, see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.